looked like a cold-blooded person. After the incident, some parents even surrounded and beat Mervyn and warned him not to talk to any students in the village. Wayne gave Ami a picture of the grass dolls. He asked her for help in finding out who in the area knew how to make these grass dolls. Then, the two of them went to Will's funeral. They met Lucy's cousin, Clyde. Clyde admitted that he had left the magazines in Will's room, but on the day Will went missing, Clyde was not in town, so he was quickly ruled out as a suspect. Ami took a photo of the grass doll and investigated the school. A student named Mike said that not long ago on Christmas Eve, he had seen Julie holding such a doll. Perhaps a citizen had given it to her. Roland immediately questioned Mike and asked him to draw up their route when they went trick-or-treating on Christmas Eve. After Wayne returned to the station, he suggested to his boss to mobilize all the police. At the same time, they conducted a surprise search of all the houses that Julie had visited on Christmas Eve. This request was rejected by Wayne's boss. Without a search warrant, they absolutely could not enter the houses to search. The court could not approve dozens of search warrants at the same time. In the end, Wayne's plan was rejected. The reason they did not ask from house to house was because it would easily alert the suspect. However, the next day, a prosecutor in Washington revealed the route map on television. This made Wayne very upset. The next day, the two went to Tom's house because he received a very strange anonymous letter. The words in the letter were cut out from different magazines and put together. The police did not find any fingerprints on it. This letter once again proved that Julie might still be alive. Wayne concluded that the sender must know Julie's whereabouts. The next day, the two questioned Julie's friend Joyce. Joyce confirmed that he did not ask Will and Julie to go to the park that day, but Will told his father that they had an appointment to meet Joyce at the park. Tom clearly remembered that his son and daughter had said so. So why would Will and Julie lie to their father? This became a new problem for the police. Wayne thought that the two were definitely hiding something from their parents, so they searched their room again. Wayne found a cloth bag in Julie's closet. Inside were some dolls and a sketchbook. Wayne found some suspicious colored notes in the sketchbook. The handwriting looked like they were written by an adult. Wayne quietly put the notes away. Wayne turned over the cloth bag and saw the words Hoyt Foods. Lucy said that a year ago she had worked at Hoyt Foods. The next day, a colleague of Wayne's at the police station saw a reward advertisement. Anyone who could provide clues about Will and Julie's disappearance would receive a reward of $10,000. The organization offering the reward was a charity. The founder of the organization was the president of Hoyt Foods, Mr. Hoyt. Wayne and Roland immediately went to Hoyt's company. According to a senior manager, President Hoyt had gone on a trip to Africa and was not at company. The reason for the reward was because Lucy had been an employee of the company. They wanted to help Lucy find her daughter quickly. The next day, the police conducted a thorough search of Ozark Park again. This time, Wayne, with his keen senses, made a new discovery. Wayne found a few children's toys in a corner of the park. He then found a cloth bag not far away. There were also many toys inside. Next to the cloth bag, blood was found on a rock. The blood test confirmed that it was Will's blood. This was the first scene where Will was killed. After that, the two visited a family nearest to the park. The old man told Wayne that on the second day after the incident, a white policeman came to inquire. Wayne was very suspicious because he had always been in charge of this case. He had never sent anyone before. The old man said that the white policeman looked normal. He was tired at that time, so he said a few words and let the person go. Wayne asked if he had seen any other suspicious people that day. The old man said that that afternoon, a brown luxury car was parked next to the park. A man and a woman got out of the car, but he could not see their faces clearly. Roland showed Tom and Lucy pictures of the toys. Both of them said that they did not buy these toys. Wayne accidentally opened a photo album at Tom's house. There was a photo of Will in the same pose as his body in the cake. Tom said that this was a photo taken when Will was 10 years old and attended the Eucharist. Then, the two went to that church. The pastor said that he took the photo of Will himself. The pose was just a normal prayer pose. Roland showed a photo of a grass doll. The pastor said that this was a souvenir that they invited someone to make during a previous activity. Then, the two went to Selena, who had made grass dolls for the church. Selena said that in addition to supplying the church before, there was also a man who bought 10 grass dolls from her. That man had a cataract in one eye. Then the two went to a crowded area nearby. A supermarket employee told them that there was a person with cataract nearby. The two quickly went to that person to ask him. This person denied that he was involved in the disappearance of Will and Julie. Roland asked him to give an alibi for the night of the incident. The man said that he was home alone that day. As he spoke, he called the neighbors around. He said that the two police officers wanted to frame him. Immediately, more than a dozen of his neighbors surrounded them. Wayne and Roland felt so much pressure that they were forced to pull out their guns and take the man into the house. The man insisted that he did not kidnap Will and Julie. Due to the lack of direct evidence, the two eventually had to leave the black neighborhood. When they left, their car window was broken. Wayne thought that this man was not the one they were looking for. Back at the police station, the forensic department sent a message. They found Dan's fingerprints on Will's bicycle. The two immediately took Dan to the police station for questioning. lying. Dan admitted that he lied the last time he was questioned because he was afraid of being considered a suspect. Dan explained that on the day of the incident, he saw Will alone pushing his bike to find his sister near the park. Dan stole Will's bike and rode it around. In the process, he accidentally broke the wheel, so he threw the bike into the river. Dan did not see Will again. The two still believed that Dan was not telling the truth, so they began to threaten him. They said that if he did not confess honestly, he would face charges of murder and kidnapping. At that time, he would be sent to prison. This type of criminal, when in prison, is very easy to become a target for other prisoners. With his thin body, within a week he will definitely get an anal abscess or lose control of his bowels. Hearing this, Dan was so scared that he peed his pants. Wayne thought that the murderer was not Can. Otherwise, Can would have confessed. At this time, a policeman suddenly came and said that something big had happened at Mervin's house. 10 minutes ago, Mervin approached two children hoping that they could give him an empty bottle of water. But this scene was seen by a parent. The parent immediately called a few thugs in the village to prepare to beat Mervin again. This time, Mervin decided to defend his honor as a former soldier. He ran home as fast as he could. He took out the prepared gun and placed bombs at the door and around the house. Wayne and Roland knew that Mervin was not an ordinary person. They tried to stop them all, but it was too late. Finally, Wayne quietly approached Mervin from behind and restrained him. But just 30 seconds ago, Mervin had the chance to kill Wayne. Mervin thought that Wayne was also a soldier, so he let him off this time. Mervin said he was forced. He always lived honestly, but received it in return. The bullying from the thugs got worse and worse. Finally, he couldn't stand it anymore, so he chose violence against violence. Now that he was on the court, there was no turning back. He had no intention of leaving here alive. Mervin asked Wayne to shoot him within 3 seconds. Otherwise, Mervin would point the gun at Wayne. Wayne had no choice, so he shot Mervin. When the police searched Mervin's house, they found Julie's clothes and Will's backpack. The Washington City prosecutor immediately announced the verdict that Mervin was the murderer who kidnapped and killed Will and Julie. Wayne did not believe Mervin was the murderer at all. Wayne thought that someone was deliberately framing the dead. A dead man cannot defend himself. However, it was all Wayne's suspicion. Without evidence, he could not reopen the case. The next day, the chief of police and the prosecutor called Wayne into the office. Wayne's girlfriend posted a shocking news in the newspaper. She deliberately blamed the disappearance of Will and Julie on the dead Mervin. Wayne's girlfriend was teacher Ami. The two of them had a relationship because of the case and became lovers. To handle this, the prosecutor gave Wayne 2 options. One was that Wayne would release a statement saying that his girlfriend was being framed. The other was that Wayne would be transferred from the criminal police department to the information department. Wayne believed that his girlfriend had done nothing wrong. He also did not want to bow to authority. In the end, Wayne was transferred to the information department. Wayne stayed in this position for 10 years. Very quickly, it was 1990. In 10 years, Wayne and Ami got married and had children. They lived a normal life. Roland also went from being a detective to being a deputy captain until 2 Ohio police officers appeared and disrupted Wayne's peaceful life. They asked Wayne about the case of Will and Julie 10 years ago. Wayne asked why they were asking about this. The police said that the case that year was not really closed. 2 months ago, there was a robbery at a pharmacy in Oklahoma. The police got Julie's fingerprints on the counter, so they went to Wayne to find out about the case 10 years ago. Then the 2 policemen went to Roland to ask about the case. After Roland learned that Julie had reappeared, he immediately asked his superiors to reinvestigate case. The leader agreed to his request. Roland went to Tom to ask for his opinion. Tom also gave Roland a definite answer. Then Roland immediately went to his old teammate, Wayne. Over the past 10 years, Wayne had grown up but had never stopped searching for the truth. Wayne quickly agreed with Roland. After 10 years, the police station formed an investigation team again. However, they had almost no new clues, so they started investigating from the fingerprints at pharmacy. Wayne and Roland went to Oklahoma to get the pharmacy surveillance video and printed out clearest image of Julie's face. Other colleagues also found out that 2 years ago, Julie's mother, Lucy, died from a drug overdose. Clay also disappeared without a trace. The next day, when Wayne looked at the evidence photos, he suddenly thought of the prosecutor who blamed Mervin because they found Will's backpack and clothes in his house. So Wayne speculated that there might be an accomplice within the police, because at that time, everything was almost destroyed by the explosion. But when the backpack was found, there was no dirt on the surface. It was obvious that someone brought it to the scene after the explosion. Only someone within the police could do this. Roland thought Wayne's analysis was reasonable, but he did not dare to report this speculation to his superiors because he did not have enough evidence. Hasty actions could easily cause internal conflicts within the police. If he was not careful, his superiors might disband their investigation team. At this time, the two had different opinions. Therefore, Wayne argued with Roland. At this time, Roland received a call from his colleague at another police station. A girl claiming to be Julie called the police station. The colleague told Roland to listen to the recording of the call. After Wayne finished listening to the recording, He called Tom to the police station so he could listen to the entire recorded conversation. "Don't be angry with the state police." Tom had not finished listening to the recording when he collapsed. For the past 10 years, he had been waiting for a miracle. What he did not expect was denial and suspicion from his daughter. Tom did not understand why his daughter told him that he had abandoned her that year. The prosecutor believed that this 10-year kidnapping and murder case was directed by Tom himself. He asked Wayne and Roland to quickly find evidence of Tom's crime. After that, Wayne and Roland immediately interrogated Tom. Facing the police's suspicion, Tom was very angry. Reluctantly, Tom recounted what he had done that day. Tom's story was almost exactly the same as 10 years ago, not like he was making up a story. Due to the lack of direct evidence, the police decided to release Tom after 24 hours. That afternoon, Clay, who had been missing for many years, suddenly came to Wayne and Roland. Clay said that he knew where Julie was. Clay revealed that Lucy did not die of a drug overdose, but was murdered. These two things had nothing to do with Tom. As long as the police were willing to pay him $7,000, he would tell the police everything he knew. The two thought that Clay would not dare to lie to the police, but today they did not bring that much cash. The three of them agreed to bring cash to see Clay a week later. Then, Wayne asked Roland to ask his colleagues to extract the call record before Lucy died 2 years ago. However, when the colleagues in the office were talking about Clay blackmailing the police for cash, Tom was outside the door and accidentally heard it. Tom immediately brought a gun to Clay and asked him why he blackmailed the police. Did Clay know anything about Julie? Under Tom's threat, Clay told the truth. It turned out that since Lucy and Tom divorced, she had been addicted to drugs. Although Lucy was unemployed, she was not short of money. Lucy's money was all given by Hoyt's daughter, Sully. Just because Sully especially liked Lucy's daughter, Julie, Lucy sold Julie to Sully. Now Julie is being held in Hoyt's mansion. After hearing these words, Tom rushed into the Hoyt mansion alone with a gun. However, Tom's every move was followed by the manor's bodyguard, Harriet. Tom sneaked into an underground bunker in the mansion. The scene before his eyes stunned him. The next day, the police received a report that Tom's body was found in Ozark Park. Next to Tom's body was a printed suicide note. That night, when Wayne returned home, his wife, Ami, told him an important clue. This morning, Ami held a press conference for her new book. The content of the new book was about the disappearance of Will and Julie. In the middle of the press conference, a man with a cataract in his right eye suddenly asked Ami loudly where Julie was. Ami replied that she did not know. The man scolded her that her book was full of lies. After saying that, he threw the book in his hand and left the scene. Ami thought that this man was the one who bought the grass doll 10 years ago. However, Ami did not know his name and address. After Tom died, the police acted again like 10 years ago. They blamed Tom as the murderer. They did not even perform an autopsy and announced to the outside world that Tom had done something stupid. The reason was that Tom could not face the crime he had committed. But this time, Roland also thought that Tom had done something stupid because he felt guilty. However, Wayne thought that this was a trick of his superiors. Once again, they blamed the dead man. Normal people who do stupid things would never leave a printed suicide note. Because of this, Wayne had a big argument with Roland. Wayne advocated continuing the investigation. Finding Julie would clarify the truth. The next day, the owner of the hotel where Clay was staying reported to the police that he had not returned to the hotel for several days and there were bloodstains in the room. Moreover, his car was still at the hotel. From then on, Clay seemed to have disappeared without a trace. This made Wayne even more certain that the case was not over. The next day, the call records before Lucy's death were extracted. The call records showed that before Lucy died, she called the same person many times. That person was Harris. Wayne then extracted Harris's schedule at that time and found that the night before Lucy died, he flew out of Washington. The day after Lucy died, he flew back to Washington. Wayne concluded that this person was the murderer of Lucy. That year, Harris took Will's backpack and placed it at Mervin's house to harm him, because in 1980, Harris was a police officer in the evidence room. After that, Harris left the police station incognito and became a security guard for Hoyt Company. Although Roland thought that Wayne was right, now that the case was closed, he advised Wayne not to cause any more trouble. But in the end, Roland was still persuaded by Wayne. That night, the two of them waited in front of Hoyt's company. After Harris finished work, the two of them immediately followed him to a remote place. The two of them immediately forced Harris to stop the car and then took him to an abandoned warehouse. After a while, Harris agreed to tell the truth. Harris told Wayne to open his eyes first, but Harris immediately attacked Wayne. The two of them fought for a while. Roland saw that Wayne had accidentally beaten Harris to death. Thus, they once again missed the opportunity to know the truth. Then the two of them buried Harris's body. The next afternoon, Hoyt called Wayne and said, "I have something to discuss with you." Wayne flatly refused, but Hoyt used the safety of Wayne's wife and children to threaten him. Wayne had to get in Hoyt's car. Soon, the car drove into a dense forest. Wayne began to feel worried. Hoyt asked Wayne where Harris was. Wayne lied and said he had not seen Harris. Hoyt said that he had extracted the videotape in front of the company and saw Wayne and Roland following regarding Harris. Wayne had to admit that he had found Harris to ask questions last night. After asking questions, Wayne let Harris go. Wayne also said that Harris might have been scared, so he ran away. Hoyt once again exposed Wayne's lies. It turned out that Harris had a pager on him and the pager had a GPS. Actually, Hoyt already knew that Harris was buried. Today, Hoyt went to Wayne just to find out if Harris betrayed him and his family. Wayne said that they couldn't get any clues from Harris. In the end, Hoyt let Wayne go. Before Hoyt left, he advised Wayne not to continue looking for Julie. Doing so would only put Julie in danger. Wayne asked Hoyt how much truth he really knew. Hoyt once again warned Wayne not to interfere in this matter. Otherwise, it would affect his family's safety. After Ami learned about the incident, she also advised Wayne to give up the investigation. After they got married, Ami repeatedly advised Wayne to quit his job because in the past 10 years, he had only focused on this case. His work had not progressed. His life was also in chaos. Ami advised Wayne to stay home and take care of the children. She could write books to support family. These words deeply hurt him. The emotions that had been pent up for many years finally erupted at this moment. In the end, Wayne and Ami divorced. Their daughter lived with Ami. Wayne raised his son alone. Because his son was still young and needed care, Wayne reluctantly gave up his detective work. Time passed quickly. After 20 years. At this time, Wayne had severe amnesia. That day, a TV reporter named Dami came to interview Wayne. The main content of the interview was to ask Wayne to recall Julie's disappearance 35 years ago. At first, Wayne thought it was just a normal interview. So, Wayne told Dami the story based on his remaining memories. But unexpectedly, Wayne, despite having amnesia, could not remember a phone number. But he could clearly tell the story of Julie's case. But at this time, Dami questioned the police investigation at that time. In 1980, there was an old man living in the house closest to Ozark Park. He mentioned that on the day of the incident, there was a brown luxury car parked near the park. Two people got out of the luxury car. Why didn't the police investigate the identities of these two people at that time? Moreover, there were almost no luxury cars in the town at that time. Why didn't this make the police suspicious and investigate? Even the police records didn't mention this luxury car. In addition, Dami also asked why the police only went to a few households at that time. More than half of the residents in the town said that no police had come to their homes to investigate. Dami believed that there was a big problem with police investigation from the beginning. These words were very difficult for Wayne to accept because Dami seemed to deny all the police's efforts in the past. Wayne angrily ended the interview immediately. Before leaving, Dami also expressed the true intention of the interview. She hoped that he could reflect on his past mistakes and continue to investigate Julie's whereabouts. In the end, Wayne asked his son to chase Dami away. However, a few days later, Wayne came to apologize to Dami because he understood that what she said was true. Wayne also believed that Dami must have secretly conducted many investigations. He hoped that she could tell him the undisclosed clues related to Julie's case. Dami was happy that Wayne took the initiative to ask her about case. This showed that Wayne's fire for solving crimes had been rekindled. Dami admitted that she had hired a private detective to investigate the case, but she would not reveal all the clues to him. First, Dami showed him a photo of the remains. These were the remains they found in an abandoned quarry. After confirming that the dead person was Clyde, who had gone missing in 1990, there were many broken bones on his body that could be determined to have been murdered. Clyde had gone missing the day he met Wayne and Roland. This proved that he most likely knew the truth about Julie's disappearance. Someone had killed him to silence him. In order to get more useful clues from Dami, Wayne agreed to continue her interview. Dami also mentioned that after Tom's death, there was someone who had been looking for Julie's whereabouts. This person's name was Watts, the man with cataracts in his right eye. He was the one who bought 10 grass dolls from Selena. Dami said that these grass dolls were most likely a sign of a human trafficking organization. It was similar to a case that two police officers, Cole and Marty, had solved in Louisiana in 2013. In that case, the spiral symbol and grass dolls were both signs of an evil organization. He asked her how she knew these clues. She did not answer him, but only told him that the police had overlooked many details during the investigation of the case. Hearing this, his emotions became chaotic and painful memories once again attacked his mind. Wayne said that he did not want to listen anymore. He did not want to be involved in this case. After saying that, he once again stopped the interview. Although Wayne appeared to not care about case anymore, he turned back and told Roland that the man's name was Watts. Wayne told Roland to remember it well because he was worried that he would soon forget the name. It turned out that a week ago, Wayne asked his son to take him to see Roland again after 25 years of not seeing each other. Wayne hoped that Roland could come back to investigate the case. When it came to Julie's case, Roland both loved and hated Wayne. After Roland learned of Wayne's intentions, Roland still agreed to help him again. In fact, Roland didn't want to get involved in this muddy water with Wayne. Roland was fine because he was also a lonely old man. But Wayne now lived with his son, and he also suffered from amnesia. If something happened to Wayne, Roland didn't know what to say to his son. In the end, Roland couldn't stand Wayne's persistence. They then then went to a maid who used to work in Hoyt's mansion to ask. The maid said that Harris was both company security guard and Hoyt's bodyguard. Hoyt had a daughter named Sally. Sally was a rich young lady and had a happy family of 3. But in 1980, her husband and daughter both died in a car accident. Since then, Sally's spirit became abnormal and she suffered from severe depression. Hoyt was worried that something bad had happened to his daughter, so he arranged for a black male servant to take care of her. Since then, Sally moved from the mansion to live in the mansion's basement. Only male servants were allowed to enter the basement. The maid said that this male servant had a cataract in one eye. After Wayne and Roland heard this, they immediately identified this male servant as Watts. That night, while the two were chatting at Wayne's house, they suddenly discovered a mysterious person following them outside the door. Wayne walked towards him with a baseball bat. The mysterious man immediately drove away. Fortunately, Roland took a photo of the license plate number. The next day, the two men went to Harris's wife and asked her if anyone had come to her house after Harris disappeared to ask about him. She said that a man named John had come to their house. That man had a cataract in one eye. John asked her if Harris had found the girl. However, Harris's wife had never been interested in his work, so she did not know who the girl John was talking about. After listening, the two men combined the information provided by the maid before. They both thought that the man's full name was John Watts. On the way, Roland also remembered something the maid had said. After Hoyt's daughter had an accident, she moved into the underground bunker and did not let anyone else in. He thought that there must be a secret in the underground bunker. The next day, the two of them went to Hoyt's abandoned villa. They went straight to the secret room in the basement of the villa. It turned out that there was a big pink house in the secret room. Wayne saw the painting on the wall and recognized that it was drawn by Julie. Next to it were 3 people from left to right: Julie, John, and Sally. Only then did the two of them understand that Julie, who had gone missing that year, was imprisoned here. Julie later escaped from here. Based on the license plate number of the mysterious person they had taken earlier, their colleagues found John's exact address. After that, the two of them immediately drove to John's house. When they arrived, John said, "I've been waiting for you for a long time." Then, John revealed to them the secret that had been buried for the past 35 years. It turned out that after Sally lost her husband and daughter that year, she suffered from severe depression, until one day, Lucy brought Julie to visit Hoyt's house. Sally saw Julie in the crowd, and she was like reborn. Sally had Julie's captor stay with her, just because Julie looked so much like her deceased daughter. Lucy agreed to let Julie play with Sally, on the condition that Sally had to pay her. Hoyt saw that his daughter's spirit improved significantly when she was with Julie, so he agreed to Lucy's request. After that, every weekend or after school, Lucy would secretly let Julie go out to play with Sally. But Tom was completely unaware of this, until the afternoon of the incident. As usual, Julie lied that she was going out with friends. At that time, Wynn intended to take Julie home, but Sally refused to let Julie leave. While pushing, Sally accidentally pushed Wynn against a rock. Wynn died on the spot. Then John came and lied to Julie that her brother was okay. He just fainted. Then John carried Wynn to a cave near the park and put him in a position. Then, Julie prayed, hoping Will would wake up soon. Before leaving, John deliberately left behind 2 grass dolls. Then John informed Harris. At that time, Harris was a police officer. Harrison received bribes from Hoyt, so he always worked for the Hoyt family secretly. Finally, Harris took advantage of the search of Mervin's house to secretly place Will's backpack and Julie's clothes at the scene. The police followed suit and blamed this case on Mervin. Then Harris went to Lucy to explain that Wynn's death was just an accident. Harris gave Lucy a large sum of money to keep quiet. Lucy was addicted to drugs at that time, so she really needed the money. Lucy took the money and helped the Hoyt family hide the truth. During that time, because she didn't want her conscience to bother her, Lucy didn't want Tom to worry too much about their child, so she wrote a letter to him saying that her daughter Julie was still alive. She even wrote an anonymous letter to comfort him. Until 1998, Lucy was greedy and kept asking for money from the Hoyt family. To get rid of this trouble, Harris injected Lucy with a large amount of drugs to create a scene where she did something stupid. To create an alibi, Harris deliberately bought a plane ticket to leave Washington. In addition, Harris was afraid that Clay would reveal this, so he had to kill Clay. Harris threw Clay's body into the quarry. As for Julie, Sally took her to the Hoyt mansion to cover up for others. Sally and Julie moved down to live in a secret room in the basement. During that time, only John could enter the secret room. At first, Julie kept crying and wanting to go home. Sally started giving Julie a drug that could make her lose her memory. After that, Sally treated Julie like a daughter. Sally raised Julie and renamed her Mary. As her past memories gradually disappeared, Julie truly believed that she was Sally's daughter. Julie stayed in the secret room for 10 years. Sally thought that Julie had forgotten all her past memories, so she stopped giving her medication. But one day, an adult Julie suddenly asked John if she had a brother. This question completely broke John's psychological defenses. One day, John intentionally forgot to lock the door and left Julie an escape map that guided her to a house of his own. However, Julie did not completely trust John. After Julie escaped from the secret room, she threw the map away and disappeared without a trace. During that time, Julie fled to Ohio and left her fingerprints at a pharmacy. The reason Julie called the police and cursed her father, Tom, was because her memory was damaged by the medication, making her think that her father had sold her to the Hoyt family. For many years after that, John was always looking for Mary. He tried to tell her the truth to atone for his mistakes. After Julie ran away, Sally fell into depression. Not long after, Sally did something stupid. John said that after 7 years of searching, he finally found Julie at a shelter. But it was too late. Julie died at the shelter in 1995 because she had HIV. Because of this, John blamed himself a lot. Recently, when John learned that Wayne and Roland were still looking for Julie, he drove to Wayne's house. John wanted to tell Wayne the truth, but when John saw Wayne coming towards him, he didn't have the courage to say it. Finally, John begged the two to kill him or take him back to face the law, but Wayne just replied that they had no right to do it. After that, Wayne and Roland stood up and left John's house. The two drove straight to the shelter. A nun led them to Julie's grave. Wayne and Roland expressed their deep apologies to Julie. As they left, they almost hit a little girl. When the father called her name, Wayne and Roland were startled because the girl's name was Lucy. Her father was a gardener at the shelter. Wayne asked him how long he had worked there. The man said that his father had run a lawn mowing company for decades. He had helped out in his father's company since he was a child. Wayne wanted to ask him a few things about Julie, but due to time constraints, Wayne had to give up. At this point, Julie's case was considered closed. The stone that had weighed heavily on the two of them for 35 years was finally put down. Roland decided to move in with Wayne for a while to enjoy their old age together. That day, while Wayne was cleaning up his things, he happened to see a book written by Ami. This book is about Julie's disappearance. It was then that Wayne learned that Ami had been secretly investigating Julie's case. He turned a page and saw that since Julie's disappearance in 1980, in addition to her family members being very sad, there was also someone who had suffered a great shock. That person was Julie's friend, Mike. It was Mike who told Ami that Julie had received a grass doll on Halloween. Mike was Julie's best friend at school. The book also mentioned that Mike's father owned a lawn mowing company. Hearing this, Wayne suddenly felt that this part was very familiar. Yes, Mike was the man Wayne had met at the shelter before. In fact, many years before Mike came to the shelter, he had met Julie. He immediately recognized this girl as his first love who had been missing for many years. Soon the two fell in love and started a family. Mike knew that many people were looking for Julie. In order to protect her, he came up with a brilliant idea. He let her become a dead person. Then, Wayne asked his colleague to find Mike's address. Then Wayne drove alone to Mike's house to find Julie. However, when Wayne arrived at Mike's house, his amnesia suddenly relapsed. Wayne forgot why he was there. Wayne thought he was lost, so he immediately called his son to pick him up. His son asked him where he was. Wayne saw two people weeding in the front garden, so he went up to ask for the specific address. The woman told him their house number. While Wayne was waiting for his son, the woman asked her daughter to pour him a glass of water. However, until Wayne's son came to pick him up, he still did not remember that the woman just now was the Julie he had been looking for 35 years. When Roland visited Wayne, his face revealed a very relaxed smile, because in the past decades, only today was Wayne truly himself. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and see you again.